Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello and hi everyone. We are from Group 9. We will discuss about non-test instrument development. We are from International Class of Mathematics Education 90.
Okay, for non-test instrument, basically there are two kinds of instrument, namely instrument in the form of test to measure learning achievement and non-test instrument to measure attitudes. The instrument in the form of a test answer is wrong or right, while the attitude instrument or non-test answer has nothing wrong or right, but is positive and negative. By Sukiono, 2009. The non-test instrument is more comprehensive than the test instrument. It can be used to assess various aspects of the individual, so that is it not only for assessing a cognitive aspect, but also affective and psychomotor aspect. Until now, the assessment of mathematics education has mostly used instrument in the form of tests. So far, non-test techniques are less used than technical tests because the assessment prioritizes test techniques. Next, the types of non-test instrument. Non-test is instrument can be categorized into four categories. That is, there are questionnaire, interviews, observations, and documentation. Next, questionnaire. This is for questionnaire. The first is dichotomous questionnaires, open questionnaire, structured questionnaire, and closed questionnaire. The dichotomous questionnaires only contain two answer choice. For example, gender, male or female, yes or no, right or wrong, and so on. And the open questionnaires is the questionnaire contains questions or main statement that can be answered or responded by respondent freely. Respondents have the freedom to provide answer. And the third is structure questionnaire. In a structured questionnaire, questions or statements have been structured in a structured way in addition to main questions and sub-questions. And the fourth, closed questionnaire. In a closed questionnaire, questions or statements already have alternative answer or options. Respondent cannot provide answer or other response. Next.
Okay, all
The
right.
next. Okay.
This is the example of questionnaire type assessment form. So there are some statements. For example, first statement is the teacher really knows how to make us enthusiasm about the subject matter. So this questionnaire is for students. So students can fulfill the answer option, can give a checklist. Checklist is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. For one, description of answer option 1 is strongly disagree. 2 is disagree. 3 undecided or hesitate. 4 is agree. 5 is strongly agree. So students should answer give checklist for all statement. There are 5 statement. Okay, the second instrument is interviews. Interview is the process of interacting or conversating between the interview and the interview directly, where the interviewer asks about the aspect and has been assessed and has been decided in advance. Interview is the process of interaction or conversation between the interview and different dialectic. So there are conversations. Okay, this is the example of interview. The purpose of interview is to obtain information about how students learn at home. and the respondent of the interview, or we can say interview students who get quite high learning achievement, and the interviewer is teachers. Student name, class name, semester, and gender. This is the identity of students. This is the interview questions. Teacher provided questions to students. For example, when and how long do you study at home? So this is the column for student answer. Teachers write down the students answer, and after interview, teachers or who interview is give comment and conclusion of the interview. Okay, the next is observation.
Okay, for the observations, observations is a technique or method of collecting data by observing ongoing activities. These activities can be related to the way teachers teach, students learn, and school principals who are giving directions, and etc. In qualitative research, this observation guide is only in the form of outlines or general points of the activities to be observed. Details of the observed aspect are developed in the field in the process of carrying out observations. And in quantitative research, the observation guidelines are made more detailed. Even for certain studies, they can be in the form of a checklist. In this regard, there are at least two kinds of observational wide forms or formats for quantitative research. Next, the next is documentations. Documentations is a technique of collecting data by collecting and analyzing documents, both written documents, pictures, and electronically. The documents collected are selected according to the purpose and focus of the problems. In the focus of the research is on education policy, and the aim is to examine educational policies for the development of the nation's character. Then what is such are legal documents, presidential decrees, government regulations, ministerial decrees, curriculum, guidelines relating to the national character development policies. Next. And there are measurement scale, various attitude scales that can be used for educational and social research include Ford scale. There are Likert scale, Goodman scale, semantic differential, and rating scale. Next, will be explained by Mubin.
All right, Likert scale. The variable to be measured are considered as indicator variable. Then the indicator is used as a starting point for compiling instrument item that can be in form of question or statement. For Likert scale, for example, is strongly agree, hesitating, disagree, and strongly disagree. Another example, always, often, sometimes, and never. For example, from very positive until very negative. Very positive, positive, negative, and very negative. Okay, this is the example of Likert scale. Please answer the following question according to your opinion by putting the mark checklist in the column provided. So the interval for the option is SAAHDSD. This is the this is the statement. This school has used information technology and administrative and academic service. So the one who provided this questionnaire should give mark checklist. Okay. The second is Goodman scale. This type of measure scale will get a firm answer, namely yes, no, true, false, never, ever, positive, negative, or others. The research using the Goodman scale is scared of if you want to, if you want to get the answer to a problem being X. For example, is what do you think if that person serves as a principal here? So the one who provide this instrument should answer agree or disagree. The second example is has the school owner ever checked your classroom? No, never or ever. Okay. For the third semantic differential, this scale also used to measure attitude. Only the form is not multiple choice or checklist, but this arranged in a continuum line where the very participatory answer is located on the right side and of the line and vice versa. So only to how to say participatory, friendly and the unfriendly. If the principal leadership is friendly, so the one who get this questionnaire should answer 5. If very unfriendly, you can choose 1. Similar with before, generous is 5 and selfish is 1. Warm, cold, praise until reproach. And the next is will be present by Dwi.
Okay, thank you. And then is rating scale. Rating scale models respondent will not answer one of the qualitative answers that have been provided, but answer one of the quantitative answer that have been provided. Of the three measurement scales as stated above, the data obtained are all qualitative data which are then quantified. However, with a rating scale, the raw data obtained in the form of numbers are then interpreted in a qualitative sense. And then what is important for the compiler of an instrument with a rating scale is that it must be able to interpret each number given to the alternative answer on each instrument item. Certain people choose the answer number 2, but the number 2 by certain people does not necessarily have the same meaning as other people who also choose the answers with number 2. For example, how high is your knowledge of the following subject before and after attending educations and training? The meaning of each number is as follow. For 0, if you don't know at all. 1 is already know up to 25%. 2 already know up to 50%. 3 already know up to 75%. And 4 already know up to 100% or all. And then this is the please answer the circling the number before and after training. So this is for the knowledge before attending training is 0 until 4. For example subject is communications. And then knowledge after attending training. So you must checklist 1. I'm sorry, maybe 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 4 for subject communication. And then the knowledge after attending training, you can checklist or choose 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And there is for the others, office layout, decision making, and etc. Next. Then is non-test instrument development. There is nine step for non-test instrument development. Next, for the first steps, determine the purpose of the preparation of instrument. The purpose of this compilation quite the theory to construct the instrument, the form of the instrument, the scoring, as well as the meaning of the scoring result on the instrument to be developed. The purpose of preparing this instrument need to be adjusted to the research objective. And the second steps, look for relevant theory or material coverage. The relevant theory is used to construct what are the indicators of a variable to be measured. In relation to the test, it is necessary to also limit the scope of what material will be the material for compiling the test. Next.
Right.
Bill
For
Gates. Okay.
yes. For the third steps is develop instrument or questions, items, indicators. The, this question indicator is determined based on relevant theoretical studies on non-test instrument. As for the test instrument, in addition to considering theoretical studies, it is necessary to consider the scope and depth of the methods. This indicator has a special nature, so that by using the indicators, it can be compiled into instrument items. Usually, the aspects to be measured with indicators are arranged into a table. The table is then called a grid. Grid. The arrangement of this grid makes it easier for research to arrange items. The fourth step is arrange the instrument items. The next arrange this after the preparation of this item is done by looking at the indicators. We already have the indicators. We already have the grid. Then we have the arranged on the grid. In the preparation of this item, research need to consider its form. For example, for non-tense, you will use a questionnaire. Which type of questionnaire? How many scales and scoring and analysis. The fifth step is content validation. After the item are ranked, the next step is validation. This validation is done by conveying the grid, instrument items, and sheets given to expert to the studies quantitatively and qualitatively. Okay, so we need the existence of expert to give us validation. The sixth is revision based on validator input. Usually the validator provides input. These inputs are then used by research to revise them. If necessary, the research consults again the result of this improvement so that a truly valid instrument is obtained. The seventh is conduct trials on the appropriate response to obtain participant response data. Yes, after being revised, you know that the expert give us the revision, give us input, so we should revise. After revised, the item of the instrument are then completely assembled, or we can say assembled and ready to be tested. This trial was conducted in order to obtain empirical evidence. You know, empirical evidence. This trial was carried out on the response who were in accordance with the research subject. Researchers can also use members of population who are not member of the samples. The eighth is perform analysis. There are reliability, difficulty, and discriminatory power. After conducting the trials, the researchers obtained data on the response of the trial participant. Using participant response, the researcher then scored each item. Furthermore, the results of this scoring are used to analyze the reliability of test scores and also analyze the characteristics of the items. Analyze of item characteristics can be done by the classical test theory approach and item response theory.
And the ninth steps is assemble the instrument. After the grand characteristics are known, the researchers can assemble the instrument. The selection of items in assembling this device takes into account certain characteristics desired by the researcher, such as the level of item difficulty. After being given work instructions, the researcher can then use the instrument to collect research data. Next. And this is the reference of our presentations material. And then thanks you for watching our video and presentations. Maybe it will be benefits, will give you benefits for your knowledge. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. If you have some questions, you can give us some question in the comment section below. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.